Hello and good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. Very excited to talk with you because I think that you're an insight to a lot of questions that are being asked, but people aren't finding answers.
Okay.
Let's start off with your website because I know that you're going to reveal some things here and people are going to go, where can I get this information? It can't be just on a podcast.
So my website is alternativewealthstrategies.com.
Very simple. Very simple. Now, when you use the word alternative, I looked that up, and that's another possibility. That is somebody who doesn't play by the old rules. You are bringing something new to this game.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that, I'm trying to help people with is that there's so little financial education out there, and people just go with the status quo. Put your money in a 401k, pay off your mortgage. And there's so much more that you can do. And those two things are not ideally going to help you build the wealth that you need when you get to it. And with all the money supply being increased during COVID, things are going to be higher in the future. So it makes more sense to find a different place to put your money and pay the taxes on it now so that you don't have to pay it.
I'm hearing a lot of commercials about that, about how when the tax bill comes in, it's going to affect your 401k.
No, it's very true. It's very true. A lot of people don't realize during COVID, they increased the money supply by 40%. That's huge. And eventually the tax bill is going to come due, and we're the ones that are going to have to pay it.
Yeah. How are they doing days? I mean, because you're with these people one-on-one. Are they doing okay?
It's across the board. If people are willing to get educated and make some changes, they'll be doing okay. But a lot of people are so brainwashed into, mainstream, look at different strategies. And that's kind of my goal. When I work with someone, I try to educate them. I'm an educator more than anything. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. I'm just somebody that figured this stuff out for myself and feel that the world needs to know about it, or at least all Americans.
You know what? You're absolutely right about that because we just throw that money higher at a wedding. Oh, you're going to make my cake. I'll see you the week, I guess, of my wedding. And you never hear from them. So I mean, you physically get involved with people?
Yeah, I help them to, it's really important. A lot of people don't even know where they are.
Right.
So we want to know the years. A lot of people, they change jobs. They've got this 401k, that 401k. They've got CDs stuck in the drawer. They don't know what they have. So that's really the first step, is for somebody to figure out what they have. And it takes a little bit of time. It's not a quick and easy process. But from there, then we can talk about what their goals are, what it is they're wanting to accomplish. Some people are married with children and grandchildren and they want to leave a legacy. Some people are single and have no kids and they want to spend all their money before they die.
Yep.
It just depends on what their goals are. And once we figure that out, then we can start looking at the different strategies that'll help them get to where they want to go and be able to enjoy their retirement.
It scares me, these 20 to 30-year-olds who do not have a 401k plan, or they're not even thinking about their future when it comes to finances. I mean, come on, 50 and 60 will be here before you even know it.
Well, think back, though, when you and I were in our 20s, were we thinking about retirement?
It was offered, but I still didn't jump onto it until I think in my mid to late 30s.
I was the same. Absolutely. I was the same. But and the thing is that just the education part, we do a webinar starting next week. We're going to be doing a webinar every Thursday evening where people can learn about these different strategies. No obligation, just get on and educate yourself.
Now, listeners need to understand that you yourself looked at yourself in the mirror one day and said, I got to get in control of my own money. And in doing so, that meant that you had an outreach, that you were reaching out to help others as well.
Well, when I first started, it was just for my own knowledge. Yeah. I wanted to figure out where my financial planner had told me to put my money. What was my money doing? What were the fees that I was being charged for the people that were taking care of my money? I really had to do some digging and figure it out. And when I saw the fees, I was like, oh my gosh, no, you can't have that much of my money. So I made some changes. And along the way, I discovered a lot of these different alternative strategies that I want to share with people.
What do you say to that employee that says, oh man, I'm at retirement age, early retirement, I'm going to take it, and then they realize they can't work as many hours at an essential job as they used to? That's affecting their bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it. how would you be impacted if you lost your job and didn't have a job for a year?
You
know, that would impact you. Well, if you in that situation for 30 years, that's really going to impact you. And that's what retirement is. People are living a lot longer. So it's important to start strategizing before you get there. But if you're already there, we still have tools that can help you.
I remember sitting down with Danny Fontana, who was one of these big financial gurus here in Charlotte. I remember telling him, and this is how uneducated I was. I said, dude, what you're doing is nothing more than gambling. That man had fire in his eyes because it's more than gambling. It's about winning in your future.
That's right. That's right.
Wow. But how do you convince the naysayer?
You don't.
Okay.
You can't convince, you can't, I'm a true believer. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person or the right thing to the wrong person. Some people, they just don't want to listen to it. They'd rather listen to their broke brother-in-law than somebody that knows what they're talking.
A subject that came up recently that kind of blew me away. Once again, completely uneducated. All of these students want their loans paid off, but someone said, but what they're not realizing is that they'll pay off your loan, but you're going to pay the taxes on the money you just got to pay off that loan. Is that true?
Yes, that is very true.
You're kidding me.
If a loan is forgiven, it is treated as taxable income.
Oh, my God. See, I didn't know that. They don't talk about that, Heidi.
No. And we have a program that actually we work with people that have student loan debt over $100,000 where we can get their monthly payments either totally eliminated or reduced and set them up in a way that when the time comes that they do have to pay it, because they will have to pay it, but we can get it like postponed, set them up in a way that when it comes time to pay it, that they've got access to money that they can use to pay it. And so they can take that monthly payment and put it towards other wealth building strategies.
Another thing that I'm seeing, Heidi, is that people that do have their loans paid off, they're taking the money and they're giving it to other people who have loans, but I guarantee you they're not reporting that money. I mean, I don't want anybody to go to prison because of something so simple as paying it forward.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, okay. I won't talk about it then.
We have a program that helps, like a lot of professionals, like dentists, chiropractors, doctors, physical therapists. They have huge student loan debt, and therefore they have a huge student loan payment.
Yeah.
And so we can show them a way to get that payment eliminated or substantially reduced, and then they can use that money to start building wealth. So when the time comes that they do have to pay off the loan, they've got the money to pay it.
How important is an IRA versus the stock market?
Well, it kind of depends on the IRA because, I mean, like if your IRA is tied to the stock market, there's no difference. But if you have what they call a self-directed IRA, you can take that money and put it where you want to put it. So that was one of the things that I did. I put some of my money into a self-directed IRA, and then I put that money into land deals that are not tied to the stock market that were going to double my money in 3 years.
Man, see.
So that was, it depends on what the IRA is the answer to the question.
Right. So, I mean, and this is part of what you do as an alternative strategist is the fact that you're living this. You go through the same experiences. You're not somebody who is sitting there reading a book in class and then, okay, I'm going to go put this together in somebody else's life. I mean, you have lived what you were speaking.
Exactly.
All right, here's the big fire starter inside this household. My wife wants to pay off the house. I'm going, no, that's a real source of basically credit. Who's right in this picture?
There's nothing wrong with paying off your house if you do it in a way that allows you to build wealth.
Okay.
At the same time, which is another program that we have that gets you to pay off your house in about a third of the time. So if you've got a 30-year mortgage, you could get it paid off in about 10 years and save a couple of $100,000 worth of.
Wow. See, and once again, you don't read about this in areas, and if you do, it's usually just clickbait on a website, and they're trying to sell you something. But we need that honesty.
Right, and the program that we have, we actually run your numbers for you, and the program, all it's doing is telling you what to do with your money. It doesn't touch your money. It doesn't take your Social Security. It doesn't take your account numbers, anything. It just runs your numbers. We do a free financial analysis for them that actually, if you put everything in, including all your expenses, all your bills, everything, it'll give you the exact date that you would be debt free, paying off your home and all of your credit cards, your car loans, everything.
Speaking of that, speaking of that Social Security, I mean, I swear my entire life, all I've ever heard of is this president is going to get rid of your Social Security. It hasn't happened yet, but is it? I mean, is there a way around this to where we don't have to become so dependent on what we have put in?
Again, it has to do with what you do with the other stuff.
Okay.
Because you can't get away from putting it in. And who knows what's going to happen in the future? You know, that's like trying to, predict what the stock market's going to do. I don't think it's going to go away, at least not anytime soon. But that doesn't mean that that's just what you sit and wait for. There are other strategies that you can put in place in case that does go away. And a lot of people don't realize that Social Security is also taxable. So I help my clients get set up in a way that when the tax bill comes, you've got access to funds where you're not having to pay that tax bill out of your own pocket.
See, that's where I am in the way that, and I don't know where I learned this along the way, but it's almost like I have so many safety nets around me, and some people look at me saying, why don't you just have it in one? No, I need safety nets. And is that wrong?
No, that's not wrong. You should, the old adage, don't put your eggs all in one basket.
Yeah.
And another thing I will say to people is when we go and run their numbers and we look at like where they are putting money, if you're putting money back to the 401k thing, if you're putting money into your 401k, you want to make sure that you're only putting up to the amount that they match.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
That's free money. You want to do that. But if they're not matching you, let's find another place to put that money that'll benefit you more.
Taking a look at what's going on the essential job front, I often wonder, is retirement still the American dream?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Oh, yeah. It is. But a lot of people, I will tell you, because we're of medical science, medical miracles, we're living a lot longer. So people aren't necessarily retiring at 65.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I'm getting close, and I don't plan on, I got another 30 or 40 years in me. I want to keep being productive and helping people.
I'm so with you with that because I need my people. I need to socialize. I need to hear stories. I need to know who my community is, and it's right there in front of us. We just got to reach out there and get it.
That's right, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I know a lot of people that are afraid to talk to a financial advisor, and I'm not saying that you need to or don't need to, but at least educate yourself. If nothing else, come to our Thursday night webinar and learn about some tools that you may not know about.
All right, where can they go for that webinar? Let's really brand that inside their mind.
Well, starting next Thursday, it's every Thursday night at 7:30, and if they go to my website, there's a link to register.
And that website is?
AlternativeWealthStrategies.com.
So simple, so simple. You have done your homework well.
Yeah, and it just makes me so sad when I see somebody run out of money in retirement and they've got to go back to work. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. At 85 years old, or they become a burden on their family, or they become destitute.
And I think every family is dealing with that because, you sit there and you go, wow, if we would not have lent a helping hand here, they would be homeless. They would not have what they once had. And people tend to accept that. And it's like, no, that's unacceptable. You need to grow forward with your finances.
Right. And there are a lot of people that don't even look at their, like if they have a 401k statement, they don't even look at the statement when it comes because they're afraid to.
Yeah.
Things are going well right now, but back during 2008, it's just crazy.
Well, I'll tell you, Heidi, I got to tell you one of the reasons that kept me from looking at it is that my very first financial man said, stop watching the numbers. You're thinking about the future, not the present. Get your nose out of what's going on right now and quit telling me where I need to invest.
Well, that's one philosophy. But, people that lost money in the last few downturns. Yeah. The financial advisor said that it's the long run. You're looking at the long run, but it took them 12 years to get back to where they were. If you had been set up in a different way, you don't have that issue.
Wow. You've got to come back to this show anytime in the future. I love your knowledge and I love where your heart is.
Well, thank you. Actually, I would love for you to come to our Thursday night webinar yourself, so you can hear firsthand some of the stuff that we talk about.
That's awesome.
I will say that my website is in the process of being finished, being set up. We're getting it all redone. So it might be a couple days before everything's set up out there, but you definitely can go out there and poke around.
I love it. I love it. Well, please come back anytime. The door is always going to be open for you.
Well, I appreciate that. And again, Heidi Drummond, alternativewealthstrategies.com. I would love to help you and everyone else, every one of your listeners.
You be brilliant today, okay, Heidi?
Thank you. You too.